Hey, what's up guys? So here we have the 110 Screamin Eagle heads that we're working on for the 124 motor build. So I did want to show you that this thing had a stage 4 before, and I wanted to show you, even though it's a Screamin Eagle CNC head, the inner diameter of the valve seat is 172, 173. And now that we machined the inner diameter of the valve seat over here, we're looking at 204. So we like to open up the seat to get some more flow in there. So the next step here is going to be to pop that valve guide out, start machining and cutting up the intake and exhaust runners to start porting them. Alright guys, getting along pretty good on this head. So I did want to show you something real quick. So that's our spark plug hole. See if I can get this to focus. So you can see the little dark areas right here and going up there. And so I like to do my runners to go straight into my spark plug area. So once the fuel and air mixture get in together, it's gonna flow straight into where the spark plug is and to where the ignition is gonna be at, helping you get the best efficiency and horsepower out of these heads. So we're doing pretty good. I'm gonna go ahead and continue with more of the sanding rolls and get this thing a little bit smoother, a little bit more perfect. So continue watching guys. I know this is kind of a long video, but hopefully you guys stay to the end so you guys can see the finished product. Alright, so we're done with the cartridge rolls. We're going to go ahead and get ready to start using the shop rolls. Alright, so right here we're going to start using these shop rolls. They're going to come in different sizes, and it helps us get everything nice and smooth. Alright, so I'm pretty much done with the sanding rolls here, and what I'm going to do next is start getting ready to start actual polishing it and getting it to shine real good. So let me get set up to do that. Alright, so here we're installing our new valve guides from White. So this is our tool we're going to use to go ahead and press it in. We like using this tool because it sits on the valve seat and it makes everything go straight. So let me go ahead and finish doing this, and then we'll start cutting the seats. Alright, so just finished machining the last exhaust valve seat. We already got everything else already done. We already lapped our White valves. So the next step is to take these off, set them up so we can deck them. We already have the compression ratio that we desire is going to be at 10.7. So we already know how much we're going to deck off the heads. So let me get set up to do that. Alright, so we have our head already on our head decking tool, and we're going to cut. Our first pass is going to be 10 thousandths. We went from 0 to 90, so that's 10 thousandths. So let me get set up to do that. Alright, so what we're going to do now is we're going to go ahead and install the Jim's tool so we can machine, drill, and tap for the compression release. We always use the White compression releases. That head's already been done, so I'm going to get ready to start doing this head here. Alright, so the next step is going to be to put this in the jig, and it's going to tap it to the thread pitch that we need for the compression releases. After we do this, we're going to go ahead and just drill the small little hole towards the bottom. Alright, so we got the head already decked, and all cleaned, ready to go. So I'm gonna go ahead and start installing our valves and valve springs. You guys have seen and some of our videos where we are a big Kibble White fan. So we like using their valves. These are really nice, and they're coated. They're spring. These springs here are triple springs, so puts a lot of pressure on your valve and make sure that it closes and no valve float. So we're gonna go ahead and use their valve guide seals. We have a tool that machines the top of the guide to run a 420 seal, and the reason why we do that is because the seal itself is narrow, and since you run the triple springs, you make sure that the spring doesn't hit the seal and pop the seal off the guide. So that's the reason why we like using these. Of course, we're gonna run both manual and automatic compression releases. I normally do that to most of our heads that we work on, and the reason why we do that is in case your electronic compression releases fail or don't work at one point or another, you can manually push your compression release and release the compression, helping the starter turn the motor over. But let me get set up. What I'm going to do next is I'm going to get make sure we check our spring clearance to make sure the springs don't come down and hit the top of our guide, and then we'll have to check our TDC, which is the valve to valve clearance, to make sure that that doesn't hit as well. So let me get set up and do that. All right, so right now we're checking our TDC lift. So what this basically means is this is when both valves will be open at the same time. You need to have 60 thousandths clearance right in between both of the valves, right in that area. We're actually a little bit under. We're at 58 thousandths. I think that should be good. Maybe on a race motor or a good hot street motor, street strip, you can get away with a little bit less, but for good street performance motor, you always want more than 60 thousandths. So right there, it's gonna be pretty close, but we're gonna go ahead and run that. So our next step is gonna be to check top of the collar to the valve guide clearance. All right, guys, so we already measured our seated height, which is the bottom of the top collar, and the top of the lower collar, which is a 1.90, and then we have a 0.594 lift, so that gives us a difference of 1.30. So if we bring this down to 1.30, you can see where the bottom of the top collar and the top of the guide still has clearance for our valve guide seal, so it's not going to come back and smash our seal. But I do want to show you, so this is a total of a 594 lift, so we're running a fueling 594 lift, and that's how much lift the valve opens, so it's quite a bit of difference. So this is a 594 lift, and it has a 604 lift on the exhaust side, so it's going to let a lot of fuel in and a lot of air out, which is going to be real good. So the next step for us is going to be to go ahead and start assembling the heads and then get them all done. So make sure that you guys go and look at the video for the full build of the 124 motor build. So once again, guys, thanks for watching, and don't forget to go and check out Kibble White's page. They make amazing stuff, and we got more cool videos coming soon. Like, subscribe, and follow.